Hi there. I'm Thomas Lamb. I'm CEO of Myriad Uranium Corp. We are a CSE listed uranium junior. Our symbol is M. We're also listed on the OTC. The symbol is MYRUF, MYRUF, and on Frankfurt C3Q. We have two principal projects. The first is in Wyoming. It's called Copper Mountain, but it's uranium. It has seen a huge amount of work. In the 1970s, Union Pacific, the big railway, spent upwards of 117 million Canadian advancing the project, drilling 2,000 drill holes, etc. I'll tell you a lot more about that. It's an exciting project. And then as a kicker, we have 1,800 square kilometers in the Resurfaces Basin, Niger, next to two and more of the world's most important uranium deposits. We're a very exciting junior, and we look forward to the world hearing about us and understanding us, because we're going to do great things. And,
well, Mr. Lamb, how are you, sir? Welcome back. We saw you in November. How's Christmas, New Year's? All good?
Yeah, great. Family, friends. I need to get on an exercise program now, of course, and like everybody.
Good man.
I overdid
like
it.
your attitude. I like your attitude towards Christmas.
How are you?
I am pretty much the same, except I don't have your need to try and get fit. I'm just going to be fast and happy. There we go. Right. And talking of happy, what a great uranium market. Pretty nice out there, right?
Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, we're happy. And the company is also just about to do some, the company is on its way just as uranium is on its way. So we're hitting it on the half volley here perfectly. It's great.
Yeah, I think we spoke in November and previously, I think in Zaba as well. Your track record and it seems your track record in terms of building companies is there. That's why I'm kind of interested. Obviously, uranium is the chosen commodity for you. You said there's a kind of kicker with Niger. Obviously, Niger government doing their thing at the moment, and people like Global Atomic and GoVX and the French trying to work out what that actually means. Every day seems to be a surprise. So I think there's some value there at some point, but I don't want to focus on that. I want to go to the US, Wyoming. You told me a little bit about this project. What have you done with regards to all that data set that you picked up that you were telling me about in November?
Yeah, we acquired unexpectedly a big trove of historic data. This is data that almost all of it dates back to the 1970s, maybe 1980. A little bit is more recent, from some more recent owners. And we told everybody, we told you, we told the market that we were going through it and we were going to report on it. I think, it was a couple months ago, we issued a big news release that talked about the historic resource estimates and the exploration targets that were found in the data. These are done by some of the top geologists in North America at the time, late 70s. And I'll just remind everybody that the resource estimates came in at 15 to 30 million pounds. This is just for a combination of a few of the deposits there. And the, exploration target came in at 63.8 million pounds. And that related to just two out of, at the time, 5, and now we think 6 uranium deposits at the property. So these are some big numbers for Wyoming. If you look at the other projects around in Wyoming, this is a lot of uranium. So we have the data. We pulled out those historic resource estimates and we reported on them. And then since then, we have been going through the rest of the data, trying to understand it. And we are, chomping at the bit. We're very excited to tell everybody about what we found.
I bet you are. Just very quick, I just want to just kind of pick up on just a little bit of detail here. So most people when we talk about Wyoming, they talk about ISL projects. You're a little bit different. What are we looking at here?
So, the nature of the mineralization, it's in a mixed type deposit. Lots of ISR projects are, of course, in sandstone and roll front and with impermeable layers, et cetera. We are a mixed. We have it's in granite largely with cracks and structures, and the uranium runs along those structures. But we have conglomerate, really mixed rock and sandstone, and the uranium is in all three and other types of rock. So it's a mix. Now that is a strength in that the uranium has really been able to move through, and there's been lots of activity, lots of hydrothermal stuff. What that means for ISR is it's not quite conventional. And so it's not clear whether ISR will work. In the 1970s, they were thinking about it. They studied it. The historic documents are optimistic about ISR. They did some testing. And they had lots of hydrogeologists, et cetera, working on the problem. And the reports say optimistic about ISR requires further testing. More recently, including David Miller, one of the world's leading ISR experts, who's on our technical committee, more recent experts, David Miller, others, are also optimistic about ISR, and they've been thinking about it for some time. But we need to do more work to establish that. That's coming.
Okay, because I think you mentioned me previously, Union Pacific, or rather subsidiary of theirs, RMEC.
That's right.
Rocky Mountain something Energy
Corp,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They obviously set up leach pads, etc. So that's what they were thinking.
That's
Clearly,
right.
That's a different kind of cost base to ISR.
That's right. Well, so they weren't ready to. They hadn't done nearly enough work at the time. The uranium price supported mining it however the quickest way you could, whichever way you want. In fact, you could mill it if you want as an intermediate step, and they were thinking about doing that because it's just how they were doing things in the region. So they were going to dig it out, open pit, underground, maybe mill it, put it on the leach pad, and as you say, they built a leach pad in preparation for starting the mining. But then 3 Mile Island hit just then. Uranium price collapsed, et cetera. They had to halt that. So yes, they were going to do some conventional mining and leach, and they could do that because the ore, it turns out, is very highly leachable with 95% could be plus recovery in the leach, and you don't need to mill it. So we have that as a sort of we can do that. And with $100 plus uranium prices, that might work.
Well, I was
out.
about to say you don't have the price issue anymore. So here's the thing. What I want to say, because you're small, you've just kind of started out, you've kind of picked up a lot of historic data. You potentially, according to that data, sitting on £63 million. How do you play this? Because people will expect you as an explorer to be going out and raising money, drill, and that's what you got explorers do. Well, how do you come at this? Because you're sitting on there potentially with a lot of data which says, okay, there's a resource there, right? Do you go early, or do you go and drill and try and work out how big this thing gets? So what was the play?
So that's it. We think about that a lot. What is the right approach? So we want to bring our historic resource estimates current under 43-101 because that provides a nice big boost. So to do that, we need a lot more historic data. We need the drill logs, the probe logs, et cetera. I've been saying in the past that, if we have enough, we would be very close to having a current estimate. Maybe we just need a little bit of work to confirm the historic work. Going through the data, we do have historic probe and drill logs, but we don't have enough yet. So we need more.
From where?
Well, we're casting around, going through the networks. We call somebody who managed some aspect of the work in the 1970s, and they say, hey, I don't have the data, but my friend, who I haven't talked to for a few years, might have it, and then I call that person, and it just keeps going. And we have been finding data and acquiring it from people. So we get 100 logs here. Maybe there are a couple hundred in an archive out of 2,000 plus, et cetera. We acquire those, and it's just a bit of a hunt. So some of the people who used to work on the project, archives, maybe in some filings.
But how do we? I mean, this could turn into an episode of what was it called? The Curse of Oak Island here. If you're hunting down stuff to try and find out where the gold is, but they say uranium. You just hired someone called Jim Davis. He was involved back in the day with producing a lot of this data. What's he been able to do for you?
Oh, it's great. I mean, he produced a lot of this data, and he knows the area intimately. I'll just mention, we have maps that indicate where the historic holes were drilled and what some of the most interesting results were. And we have in fact, we have lots of that. So we know where the high-grade stuff is, according to the data, and where it could be, because you could maybe link, there's a gap, high-grade area, and what's in between, according to the structure, maybe there's, it continues. But we don't have all the detailed intercept information for that particular hole, like, in a lot of cases. So we have a lot, but we don't have quite as much as we need. Jim Davis.
The process. So tell me about Jim. Yes, sorry, please.
Yeah. Well, Jim Davis is helping with that. So he's very familiar with the data, and it's almost like he sees it and then he's refreshed. So he's back, right back. He remembers what they were thinking on the stop date, call it 1980, 1981, what they were about to do. There's high grade over here. Everybody knows that that's the next step. We're going to move the drills over there, and we're going to start drilling it. And we're so excited because the first few holes came up aces, and we just need to keep going. And they couldn't. And the same goes for over there and over, here. And even more important and interesting is the why, and explaining why they had these ideas. This is also, these things are also largely set out in some memos, and for companies that in fact Jim consulted to about our area. And so those companies really spent time and energy and money, and in particular Neutron Energy, which is now part of Encore. They own part of our license area, project area, and a little bit in the center, mostly in the periphery. And their memos talk about how we have to get this central area and put a blanket over it, and maybe do some deals with some of the other owners. And then the memos talk about what they're going to do once they have that. And this was actually Jim Davis and a partner, a colleague, consulting to Neutron about exactly what they should be doing, and laying it all out for them. But Neutron never quite got to it. Fukushima, and etc. We have these things, and they're beautiful. I mean, it's just, we read them. It's kind of the game plan, and how to bring these resources current, what the exploration plan should be, what you prioritize, and then what else to acquire in the district, which it's all pockmarked with historic uranium mines, gold mines, copper mines, etc. Jim knows where they are, what they contain, most likely, and very few other people do. So he's helping us with that too. We've got the data, we have the memos, we have Jim, and all that together. It's great.
Okay, but what we're going to need to see is, we can't rely on Jim as the data source. So given what you've got today, given Jim's input, etc., what we can't, I guess, wait around for is the hunt for the data. What we need is something statement from the company which says, look, we've had a look. This is what we know today. There are some gaps, and here's how we're going to fill in those gaps. I mean, where's that coming?
It's been a surprise because we've gone into the data. We've been looking to fill gaps, but the data has revealed new things, other things that the world, we didn't even expect. And this is brand new information. It's information that is
good things. Are they good things?
Good things. Good things. Not not contained in these, or we've been referred to in our historic exploration target news release of a few months ago. It's like a whole new kind of, I wouldn't say a whole new world, but yeah. So whereas we went into this hoping just to fill some gaps and then come up with a plan, now we have discovered new things about our project area and the environs, and especially about right in the heart of our project area, that obviously this company that owned the center of our project area after Rocky Mountain, after Union Pacific, I guess there was a spike in the mid-90s in the uranium price. They got some money. They did a whole pile of work. Price dropped. I don't think they reported on it. We haven't found any public information on it. That's all in our data package. And our geologist, George Vanderwalt, was just in Vancouver for 2 weeks, just left yesterday or the day before, and we were reviewing the data intensely, focused review over the last, especially 12 days. And this is what's come from this, and I'm excited to tell the world about that. This is the beauty of having a true uranium expert. I mean, he supervised Peninsula's Karoo in South Africa, among many other things, and he's a true uranium expert. It's the difference between having me review the data and him review the data, and it's this is great. So I can't wait to tell everybody about it.
Right. What's the timing on that?
It's a good question. It probably will take us a few weeks to put together a report on it, and then send out a news release. Maybe we'll be able to say a few things a bit sooner, but at least a few weeks.
Okay. So if I look at, because I think there's a few things going on there in the market. Obviously, spot price is ripping through. I think uranium companies are seeing the benefit of that, not as much as perhaps they should. I think that there's not a direct correlation between the speed at which price is moving and equities are moving yet. But you in the US as a North American entity, are you seeing a lot of interest from where's your investment coming from? Is it still predominantly Canadian, or are you seeing some? Do you know where the money's coming from? I guess who's buying you?
It's been mostly Canadian, actually some Europeans, Scandinavians.
Okay,
I think we have fans who've done deep dives into us, and these are smart guys, a few women who've done deep dives, and then they contact me. And then they learn about us, and then they tell friends. So these are sort of these little, I don't know how you if you graph them, they're a circle of smart friend groups in Scandinavia, Europe, Canada, who are really into us. And it's those groups and their networks that are sort of.
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued though, because and with companies with OTC listings, which you have, I'm wondering, when does the American retail kind of wake up to this? Certainly, some of the, I guess, what they could say the home team products are. So that would be interesting. Do you know what percentage of your shareholding is or trading is through OTC at the moment?
I don't really, although it's just picked up in the last few weeks. Something's happened.
I imagine.
We've been trading a bunch in the U.S. recently, and I'm not exactly sure why. I am on WhatsApp and email with some American investors who really love us. And I can tell a few of them especially are pretty sharp. One's a geologist in California who really knows uranium, and he follows us. And so something's happened. The word has just in the last few weeks gotten out in the U.S., and there's a lot of buying there. I don't understand how, but we have a plan to tell the U.S. market about ourselves too, and I think that's going to be
Wyoming, because it feels like there's a whole bunch of former producing assets in Wyoming, and Cameco have where they got a $180 million bond on their ISR projects. You've got the peninsulars and the energy fuels, and a whole bunch of things. It kind of feels like potentially at some point there's some kind of roll-up exercise, but obviously first people need to kind of prove their own worth and what their assets are like at the moment. So I hear what you're saying with regards to what you've got. I'm excited about what you're going to say in the next 2-3 weeks in terms of this new stuff coming through. You raised some money in December. Obviously, you're not burning through a ton of cash at the moment because you're not drilling. But do you feel that by not drilling, you are still adding value by looking at this data analysis process you're going through?
Yeah, it's almost perfect timing because there's snow on the ground. We can't, it's going to be a month or two before we can get back there anyway. So this is great timing. We've got the data. We're doing this analysis, and we're going to deliver some really cool things, now over the next couple months. And then it's going to be great. We're going to be able to flip into doing work on the ground, advancing the company. And what we are going to reveal, and in this business, you have to make sure you don't overpromise and all this sort of thing. It's just so whoever's watching, this is junior mining.
Something's
still.
coming. Something's coming. We won't say what yet. But look, we look forward to hearing from you when it does. I think in a market like this, it's almost like all news is good news. But if it can be genuinely good news, that really, really helps move the dial. Tom, yes, go on.
You were just talking about, I think, alluding to potential M&A. Everybody's talking to each other, and in this space, bankers, the companies in Wyoming, CEOs, etc. I think roll-up is a possibility. It's going to be very active. You have all the politics in Wyoming and nationally are lining up on a bipartisan basis. The money is just starting to pour into Wyoming, the excitement, so that, there's lots of things that can happen here. There's, building the company. I invite your viewers to compare our license, our project, known as historic, 43101, resource and potential against other projects in Wyoming. Historically, we have a very big project, and I just think it's going to be tempting to people, companies. There's lots of ways this could all go, and I think they're all good.
Well, I look forward to hearing from you. Stay in touch. Let us know how you get on, okay?
Thank you, Matthew. Yeah, good to see you.